How do you avoid becoming part of the executive wasteland? What I mean by that is that you wake up one day, you've lost your job, your executive position, and it is extremely difficult for you to get a new one. And the longer that it takes you to get a new one, the more likely that you are not going to end up in an executive role. You're going to end up in more of a junior position. The executive wasteland is a very real thing. It happens to people late in their career, and it's because they don't shift and switch gears in terms of the way they brand themselves. And I want to break that down for you. And if you don't have more than 30 seconds, bookmark this and come back. Because if you're an executive who wants to keep their job for the next decade and not end up in executive wasteland, you need to understand this. So, when you think about how you ascend to the role of being an executive, you outperform. It's very simple. So, people who outperform spend a lot of time working in their jobs, getting very good at what they do. And that's how they rise and ascend to a position of power. The problem is the only people you work with are the ones that know your brand as an executive, the ones that understand your UVA, your unique value add, and the ROI, the return on investment you provide when people hire you. So for a while, people sit in the executive sweet spot or the executive all-star box because they're killing it in their job, right? They just keep executing and executing and executing, and all the people around them love them until they don't. Until one day something happens, your company gets acquired or things shift or the market changes. And all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're not in a job anymore, right? You get laid off or maybe you get fired, something happens. And now for the first time, you're in executive wasteland because you only spent time in your job, not on your career and your brand. So your brand is only known by the people you worked with. And at this level, to find another job that high up the ladder, they're a lot farther and fewer between, right? These are coveted roles that a lot of people are competing for. So now it's like you're playing in the major leagues, right? It's hard to land a spot on the team. It's hard to keep the spot. The people that get the spot have done a really good job of branding themselves. What they've done is made sure that other people beyond the people they worked with understood their UVA, their unique value add, and their ROI, their return on investment, so that they can attract other employers who need them. That they do a really good job of making sure that a wider audience understands the problems they solve and the pain that they alleviate. Now, how do you do this today? It's through personal branding, and it's primarily for executives done on LinkedIn. And if you haven't paid attention and noticed the algorithm changes on LinkedIn, and more importantly, their new video tab, then you are in the dark about what it's going to take to keep your executive brand front and center, to be in the all-star box. And quite frankly, you are moving one step closer to executive wasteland. If this makes sense to you, then the solution is to learn how to brand yourself correctly. And we say at work at Daily Brand or Be Branded, because choosing not to work on your career and on your brand still says something about you. You're not savvy enough. There's nothing special about you. Maybe you've got something to hide. You have got to take full ownership of your brand message, your reputation, if you want a different word to use, and you need to scale that reputation so that other people in the industry and at the skill set level that you are going for know about you. Now, if it made sense, all this made sense so far, there are things that you can do about it. I am actually going to be hosting a 2-day mastermind on this. Only 12 slots, 12 executives will come work with me personally for 2 days, and then have a 3-month cohort afterwards where they'll work with me weekly in order to make sure that they completely launch and easily maintain their executive brand on LinkedIn so that they don't end up in executive wasteland. If you'd like to learn more about that, I've put a link. It's either linked in my bio up here or down below. You can learn more about it, and you can DM me on LinkedIn if you have any questions about the program, okay? But please, folks, if you have an executive role, if you want to stay high level, high paying in the next decade, stop just working in your career, start working on your brand. You have got to make sure you stay in the all-star box and not in executive wasteland, because it sneaks up on you. I've seen too many people wake up one day and say, "Where am I?" And it's a long road back that you could have avoided if you spent time on your brand and your reputation now. Okay? Good luck. Go get them.